So, our Baltimore Ravens just extended tight end Mark Andrews to a 3-year, $39 million extension. I'm going to talk about this on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, long time no see, right? My name is Sutton Def. You're listening to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. This is Quiet Storm Sports. I say long time no see because I was just live here on this very channel, maybe 3 hours ago. And I was out and about running some errands, right? And while I was out, a notification popped up on my phone. And this notification came from ESPN. Mike Garafolo had reported that the Ravens recently, extended Ravens tight end Mark Andrews to a 3-year, $39 million deal. That's $13 million per year. 3 years. We're going to talk about that on this episode of the show. Again, I am live. I'm going to dive into that and my thoughts and opinions on it because I do have some. But before I do that, I got to give a shout out to whoever's here in the live chat. Of course, as we always do. ISO, what's going on, ISO? One of the members here in the chat. Appreciate you for coming through. Khalil Bowling is in here. What up? What up? As you guys continue to trickle in here, make sure you let me know. Sound off in the comments in the chat. Let me know you're here. And if you're watching after the fact, that means you're part of the hashtag replay gang. First off, leave hashtag replay gang in the comments and let me know. Do you like, love, or hate this Mark Andrews extension? Let me get this microphone adjusted properly. When I saw this notification pop up on my phone, the first knee-jerk reaction that I had, JD, what's up? Brian, what's up? Appreciate y'all for coming through. The first knee-jerk reaction that I had was that this organization is unserious. Number two, this organization is for some reason, whatever reason, addicted to this, what I am calling a run it back culture. What do I mean by that? Re-signing a 30-year-old Mark Andrews when you have not a lot of empirical data to support that this player's best football is not behind him, but it's ahead of him. If the Ravens are deducing that we're going to be able to get a lot more out of Mark Andrews, if the Ravens are deducing that Mark Andrews is going to be able to shake his playoff demons and actually show up when it matters for this team to the tune of $13 million per year, tells me a few things. Number one, again, the Ravens are addicted to this run it back culture. Number one, I think that this means, and this is probably far out, but rain, snow, or shine, it doesn't matter if the Ravens lose out for the rest of the season. John Harbaugh's job is safe. Safe and secure. The Ravens are valuing loyalty over anything. And this deal says it. Because why on earth would you re-sign a 30-year-old tight end who has consistently, and by the way, a leader on this team, who has consistently let us down when it matters the most in the playoffs? Some of you guys I see in the chat are saying, Thomas in the chat is saying, what has Likely done? I'll tell you what Likely's done. He showed up for Lamar Jackson when Lamar Jackson needed him to show up for him. Let me take you back to the divisional game against the Bills last year, right? When the Ravens had all the momentum in Orchard Park, Buffalo, all the momentum walking down the Bills, 70-yard rushing touchdown drive. The Bills and the Bills fans are on their heels, right? The Bills get the ball. They give us the ball back. They don't score. The Ravens are marching down the field again. We go over the field to Mark Andrews. Terrell Bernard punches the ball out. Fumble. That was a signature moment waiting to happen for Mark Andrews. You know, if he holds onto that ball, a big gain gets the Ravens into plus territory. It would have been silent as a church mouse in Buffalo. But he fumbles the ball. Now, the Bills go on. I think they maybe got 3 points, or maybe they got no points on that, but the Ravens were still in it. And so what does Lamar Jackson do? Again, takes his team right down the field. And when you got to have it, back is up against the wall. Who did he throw a 30-yard touchdown to in the snow and made a sliding catch? Oh, yeah, it was Isaiah Likely. It was Isaiah Likely. So if you're going to ask me what Likely has done, he has showed up in high leverage moments, and that matters. That matters. Likely scores the touchdown, right? And then after that, we need a 2-point conversion to tie it, to potentially go to overtime. And what does this Ravens organization say? And I'm saying organization just collectively as a whole. I know it was the coaching staff in that moment. They drew up a play for Mark Andrews, who had already dropped a pass in that game, a couple passes, fumbled the ball. His backup, his tight end 2, just scored what could have been the game-saving touchdown. And you say on the 2-point conversion, we're going to go back to all reliable. We're going to give Mark Andrews another chance. We're going to run it back with Mark Andrews. And what does he do? He drops the ball, and our season's over. But that's not the only example, right? And I know I'm saying this, you know, it may sound like I'm killing Mark Andrews right now. I'm just calling it for what it is. In the playoffs, which is where this team needs the most help, the Ravens need a playoff riser, not a sinker. The Ravens need playoff risers around Lamar Jackson. Because I can get into all the other years where Mark Andrews dropped a pass in the playoffs, and 2021 Bills game, 2019 Titans game, and there's a couple of other examples as well. Mark Andrews has no touchdowns in the postseason. And you might say, well, Sutton, Lamar struggles in the postseason too, so we got to hold both accountable, right? And we do hold Lamar accountable. But guess what? The Ravens don't even sniff a postseason berth without Lamar Jackson. They just don't. So no, I'm not holding them to the same exact standard. I know Lamar Jackson turned the ball over twice in that first half, but if there's one thing about Lamar, one reason why us as Ravens fans, we really can never criticize him. Well, we can, but it's hard to, because even in games where Lamar Jackson starts off and maybe not playing his best, maybe has a turnover or two, you can bet your bottom damn dollar he is going to do whatever in his power to storm back and make it a game. They may not always win it, but Lamar Jackson will keep you in the game. He will rally the troops and say, hey, look, I know we're down two or three possessions right now, but who's with me? We're going to come back. We need playoff risers around Lamar who can feed off of Lamar's talent in those big moments. And that's what Isaiah Likely is for me. So all this Mark Andrews extension does for me, because I'm going to get into Isaiah Likely a little bit more in a little bit. I think he's gone. I think that was the nail in the coffin. It's signed, sealed, delivered. Isaiah Likely's gone. But all this does is feed into the narrative, or the reality, rather, that Lamar Jackson has to play perfect in the playoffs, because we're not going to put playoff risers around him, right? We're going to keep the same, especially when it comes to like the nucleus, right? He's tight end 1, Mark Andrews is. He just doesn't show up in the playoffs. Again, no touchdowns in his playoff career. None. And he's been with the Ravens, I believe, 9 years. I want to say. Been around since the Joe Flacco days. Has never scored a touchdown in the playoffs. You need guys around Lamar who can match Lamar's energy, who can match Lamar's play, who can match Lamar's production. And it seemed like Isaiah Likely was that. Mark Andrews is not. I'm sorry. And don't get me wrong, Mark Andrews has done a lot of good for this Ravens team over the years in the regular season. He's done a lot of good. He's the all-time receptions leader. But it's just crazy to me how the Ravens really sat in that office and said, Eric DeCosta sat in that office and said, yeah, we're going to go with the older tight end who doesn't show up for us in the playoffs when we need him. And we're going to let go of the younger, more promising, brighter future tight end who has shown that he can show up in the playoffs. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because it doesn't to me. It does not to me. Marcus Clutch every game. This is a low price. Okay. All right. Let's get into it, right? Let's get into that. So again, Ari Myrov reported today Ravens are signing tight end Mark Andrews to a 3-year, $39.3 million extension per Mike Garafolo. He was slated to be a free agent after the season, but not anymore. Let me go through these other tweets I have in here. There's another one that shows where Mark Andrews now stands in terms of how much he's getting paid relative to other tight ends. Here it is. This one's coming from Jonas Schaefer. Mark Andrews' contract extension ranks in the top 5 in average annual value at the position starting next year, per SportRack. With number one highest paid tight end in the league, George Kittle. Number 2, Trey McBride. Number 3, TJ Hawkinson. Number 4, David Njoku. Number 5, Mark Andrews. $13.1 million. Again, if you're going to pay a guy top 5 at his position, he for damn sure better be a factor in January. And I think that all of this does for Mark Andrews. I think it puts more pressure on him. No, not more pressure to perform so he can get an extension with the team. He's already got his extension. But he knows, and we all know, and the Ravens front office knows, and Lamar Jackson knows, that he, appreciate the sub, Lee, appreciate that. But we all know that he knows he's got to perform in the playoffs. He's got to perform when it matters. And right now, he's got some playoff demons on his back. He does. There's a reason why after the divisional loss against the Bills last year, he didn't talk to the media after the game and didn't break his silence until like maybe 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after. He's got some playoff demons. And I just think that it would have been a lot more reasonable and progressive and productive to let Mark Andrews finish out the season with the Ravens, package him in a trade and see what you can get. Because this $39 million deal, $13 million per, that $13 million per year has got to come out of somebody else's check. Limited cap space, guys. So does this mean that we won't be able to re-sign or extend a Tyler Linderbaum? Does this mean that we won't be able to re-sign or extend a Travis Jones? Does this mean that we're not going to be able to bring in an offensive lineman externally who's already a proven offensive lineman to kind of shore up the trenches for us? Because we're paying $13 million for Mark Andrews. I know it's not a boatload of money. But it just feels like you could have gotten something for Mark Andrews. And it's okay to part ways. It's okay. I promise it's okay to say goodbye. Sometimes it is. But I think that the Ravens they have such an affinity. They like this guy so much. They like Mark Andrews a lot. Doesn't matter the fact that he never shows up for us in the playoffs. Never is Lamar's right-hand man when he really needs him to be his right-hand man. I mean, 1 p.m. CBS against the Browns, he'll cook. Outside of that, not so much. Maddie Boom with the super chat donation. Appreciate you, brother. Maddie says EDC is praying that Likely will take a cheap contract. And I don't think he will. Honestly, I don't think he will. I don't think he should. Let's take a look at this. Another tweet from Jonas Schaefer here. Yards per route run since 2022 for Ravens tight ends via PFF. Any mark over 1.5 is solid. So Mark Andrews in 2022 had 1.97 yards per route run. In 2023, he had 1.93. In 2024, he had 1.88. And this year, he has 1.30. So a steady decline for Mark Andrews, although he's been Lamar's guy, clearly, right? There has been a steady decline, though. And if there's one thing that I'm learning about this Ravens team is that they are going to ride with their guys until the wheels fall off completely. Till the wheels fall off completely. Thank you for the donation, Maddie. Isaiah Likely, meanwhile, 1.32 his rookie season, 1.35 his sophomore year, 1.71, which was the highest of his career. That was last year. He had a really nice year. And then 1.36 this year. Really hasn't done much this year. And it's so funny to me that this deal is coming after a couple things. I guess it's a combination of the Mark Andrews fake tush push that he booted out to the right and ran for a touchdown. It's a combination of that, him also becoming our all-time receptions leader, and then combined with the fact that Isaiah Likely really had a bad game on Thanksgiving. And that was all the Ravens needed to see. Despite how promising Isaiah Likely has been when he's a focal point in the offense, when the offensive line actually is giving Lamar Jackson time to get to the read of Isaiah Likely, you see what he's been able to do. Right after the catch, phenomenal. I get it. He had the fumble on the goal line that ended up being a touchback. I get that. But I mean, I think of games like Week 1 versus the Chiefs last year. Huge touchdown. Beautiful run after the catch. You know, Lamar Jackson went back to him on the 2-point conversion. His toe was just out of bounds, but he caught it though. His rookie year, Isaiah Likely's rookie year against the Bucks on, I believe, Thursday Night Football. Lamar Jackson was treating Isaiah Likely like a wide receiver one. I have never in that fashion seen Lamar Jackson trust Mark Andrews like that. Everything with Mark Andrews is normally in phase, right? It's in structure. It's within structure. Crossers over the middle. Things like that. Slants, leaking out into the flat. Things like that. It's normally in structure from Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews. Not always, but normally. Isaiah Likely, he is a scramble drill genius. He is. And he can run after the catch, man. He is a valuable tight end. May not be able to block that well. I mean, we saw that on Thanksgiving Day. However, this guy can make plays, and he can make plays in the playoffs when it matters the most. That is my point, guys. That is my point. Let me see what else here. What other tweet I saved? I believe there was another one from Ari. Yeah, I mean, the whole NFL world is kind of in shock right now. Because where does this leave Isaiah Likely? This says Isaiah Likely is set to become a free agent after this season. So this Mark Andrews extension indicates that Likely is probably going to be allowed to test the open market and find a new team in free agency. Many had thought he's the future at the tight end position. I for damn sure did. I did. Again, man, I just don't understand the thought process behind bringing back a guy who is declining, right? I mean, I get it. He reached 20 miles per hour on that fake tush push boot rollout for a touchdown. I get it. Awesome. Great. He's got 5 touchdowns on the season. Cool. Love it. But time and time again, when January comes around, and again, this is going to be a very, very big January for Mark Andrews, again, if the Ravens do make the playoffs. There's going to be an insurmountable amount of pressure on Mark Andrews to get in the end zone, to make an impact. to not turn the ball over, to not drop passes. There's going to be a huge impact. He's going to be a huge focal point for all Ravens fans and for himself, most importantly. And I would just hate for, Mark Andrews to have another drop or another blunder in the postseason. And now this front office is looking with egg on his face. They have egg on his face. Like, oh, we signed up for 3 more years of potential Mark Andrews choke jobs in the playoffs. And again, don't give me Lamar Jackson chokes 2 in the playoffs. He's got 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in his career in the playoffs. Don't give me that. Because despite Lamar's mistakes, he makes up for it by giving his team an opportunity to come back and tie the game or win the game by the end of it. Pretty much every time. Unless he goes out and gets injured. We've seen that happen a couple of times. But outside of that, if he finishes the game, he will put you in position to go and win it. And it's just so ironic that Isaiah Likely was the one to catch that touchdown in the snow against the Bills to bring them back for the go-ahead tie, 2-point conversion to go to Mark Andrews, who was struggling all game. What does Mark Andrews have on this team? I don't know. I don't know. 86 Ghost in the chat. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you for coming through. Says, I'm only a Lamar fan now. Forget the Ravens. Nah, man, I can't do that. I'm going to be a Ravens fan through and through. Tried and true. I'm going to be here 10 toes down. However, I do think that this was, again, a very unserious move by this Ravens front office. Head scratcher. Nobody saw it coming. Even the beat writers were like, oh, this was unexpected. Because what has he done? What has he done? I mean, it would be like, you're employed at a job, right? And once a year, the fourth quarter, literally like the fourth quarter of the year. And that is the most important time for your company where you've got to hit these quotas, right? So you've been with this company for 9 years. And every fourth quarter, when they need you to hit your quotas the most, you don't do it. In year 10, but in year 10, they give you a pay raise and say, we like you. So we're going to keep you on board. I mean, it just doesn't work like that in any other work environment. It just doesn't. There's clearly, again, an affinity between Mark Andrews and this coaching staff. They love him. He loves them. You know what I mean? He's always kind of like a cool hand Luke, a steady, never gets too high, never gets too low. Just there for Lamar. He was Lamar Jackson's security blanket. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar Jackson even had a hand in saying, hey, look, bring back my guy Mark. I wouldn't be surprised. Doesn't mean I like it anymore. It's a business, man. It's a business. This is a business that the Ravens treat more like it's family over business when it comes to the Ravens, when it comes to Eric DeCosta. Everybody's so close and tight-knit. I just don't know, man. I just don't know if that's where those cap dollars should have went. I hate this move. I hate it. I cannot stand it. Let me read the chat. Then politics ain't getting their ass nowhere. Exactly. And here Kaimi says it here. Says this was all politics. Andrews is part of the club. Likely is not. Simple as that. Hey, you spitting. I'm with you when you're right, brother. I'm with you when you're right. It's a good old boys club. And if you're part of that club, if you're part of the in group where they all send each other Christmas cards and whatnot, you'll be able to stick around. And again, that's why I said at the top of the show, this tells me Harbaugh is going to be around for the foreseeable future. He's going to ride out that 3-year contract extension that he signed last August or maybe like June, July, something like that. He's going to ride that out. It doesn't matter if the Ravens miss the playoffs. It does not matter if the Ravens lose out the rest of their games. Doesn't matter. Again, the run it back Ravens. That's who we support. Now, I hope I have egg on my face by the end of the season. I hope that Mark Andrews just starts going scorched earth. I hope Lamar Jackson, starts force feeding him, targeting him more, and Mark Andrews starts really turning up. I really hope that in January we can see some damn touchdowns out of Mark Andrews. It'd be very ironic if we get to January and Isaiah Likely is outperforming Mark Andrews. Now, I get it. Likely hasn't really been doing anything that much this season. He got hurt right before the year, had a foot, right? Started the season off on IR. I don't think he came back until like week? Was it 6 or 7? Somewhere in there, right? But again, I just don't get this one. I don't get it. To pay this guy like a top 5 tight end in the league, but we're not getting top 5 results. And I'll say this again. You need playoff risers around Lamar Jackson. Not guys who fold. Not guys who shrink when the going gets tough. Mark Andrews has never proven to us to be that guy. Never. I don't have a touchdown highlight to show for it in the postseason. I just don't. So again, Eric, and I know you're not listening, but I ask, like, what is going on up here? What is going on in that front office? I mean, did you call Mark Andrews into your office and you guys had like a heart-to-heart one-on-one and you were like, son of a bitch, God damn it. Let's extend you right now. 3 years, $39 million. Book it. Is that what happened? Wow. Wow, guys. Hope to see number 89 and number 80 in January. Trust me. Me too. Me too. But yeah, guys, this was just my instant reaction to Ravens extending Mark Andrews to this 3-year, $39 million deal. Didn't want to hold you guys too long on this one. A little 30 minutes in and out. I hate it. Again, I hate it. I'm not a fan at all. At all. I think that the Ravens are again, prioritizing loyalty over production. Howie Roseman would never. I'm just going to put it like that. Howie Roseman would never. So, salute to Mark Andrews. Glad he's getting more money. That's good for him, his family. I know he's newly married. Shout out to him. Congratulations to him, by the way, on that. So, I mean, like, even better news, right? And maybe that's a part of it, too. Maybe the Ravens were like, hey, this guy just got married. He's all-time receptions leader. He ran 20 miles per hour on that fake tush push. Let's see 3 more years of him. We're going to hold on to Mark Andrews till he's 33 years old. And we think that his best days are ahead of him, not behind. Even though the stats don't really indicate that, we're just going to roll the dice. We're just going to roll the dice on 3 more years of Mark Andrews and hope that he can shake this playoff demon. And hope that when the Ravens inevitably get behind at some point to one of these better AFC teams, and when Lamar Jackson inevitably starts to will his way back and will this team back into the game, and he needs a Mark Andrews to step up, who has been a security blanket, at least in the regular season, since Lamar Jackson was a young whippersnapper with this Ravens team. We're just going to see and hope that over the next 3 years, he can shake this playoff demon as he gets older. So, I mean, we'll see. Again, salute to everybody involved. Salute to Mark Andrews. Eric DeCosta, I hope this one works out for you. We're going to have to see in January, though. And I'm going to see you guys in the next episode of the show. Tomorrow, we will be live. Me, Alex, and actually, I'll say it here, the Flock Rundown, our guy Ryan, he's coming back to the show tomorrow. He's going to be previewing Ravens versus Steelers. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more where this came from. Went live earlier today. Talked about some other cool stuff. Make sure you check out those other videos too. Join our membership if you want some exclusive content. We've got a couple of videos coming out per week that are only for members. So if you want to do that, make sure you do that as well. And like this video. Most importantly, like the video. And if you're watching me on X, hello, shout out to you. Maybe go ahead and follow me on X as well. Until next time, stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. I hate this Mark Andrews move, but it is what it is, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.